Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement presented by Barstool Sports and 3Chi and a very special Thanksgiving week edition of My Mom's Basement. Let's start by saying I'm thankful to everyone listening to this, that has listened to this show, that has watched this show. Thankful to all of the guests that have joined us on this journey. But the one I'm most thankful to is my co-host Clem for being here from the beginning on My Mom's Basement. Here we are about 3 years later. Clem, how are you? Has the chaos started in your household yet?
Yes, thank you, Robbie. I'm thankful for you as well. I'm thankful to everyone out there, the Basement boys and girls, obviously everyone we've had on. I'm gonna begrudgingly say I'm thankful to like a lot of the people in charge of all the different projects we have to cover. I mean, Feige, we were basically sucking his dick at this time, like last year and every year before then. Now it's like you're still on the thing. He's still on the Christmas card list. It's like he's moving down though. I will say
But
that.
Thanksgiving might get contentious. There's topics that might get contentious with you
Yeah.
and Feige over the table.
If I have a couple high noons and I'm just feeling myself, I might just go on a little bit of a rampage or something like that. But nonetheless, so the kids were off today, Wednesday. We're taping this November 22nd. So they last night. Actually, I don't know if this is going to be kosher or not in some people's eyes. It definitely won't be kosher. But we kind of just my wife just decided to ring in the Christmas spirit last night. She threw on Christmas songs. I heard as she was making dinner. I heard Mariah Carey, heard some Kelly Clarkson. And then the kids wanted to have a little, we did like the aerobed in the living room.
Oh, yeah.
Little movie night. And we watched Santa Claus with Tim Allen, which, by the way, first like 20 minutes is a lot of hey, is Santa real? And I was like, we looked at each other like 5 times every time they said something about believing in Santa or Santa not being real. And I'm just like, God damn it, like you're just in a fucking box. So we did that. So we kind of kicked off Christmas a little bit early. But I think once you're off from school, all things go. I respect the bird, but if she's gonna, let it ride, I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah, Mama Fox always said that Christmas season began when you see Santa at the end of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I always liked that, but I'll be honest, they've been decorating the office for our like Black Friday, Cyber Monday telethon, and it's Christmas all over the place. We got lights, we got trees, we got presents. It really put me in the mood. I was in yesterday, and it kind of made me want to watch a Christmas movie. I wound up not watching a Christmas movie, but I'm fully in the mood now. We were texting about the Bear Christmas episode.
Yep, I have a take. I'm going to publish it on Monday, but we can talk about it now if you want. I think Fishes Bear season 2 episode, which is like episode 5-ish. I think it's a Christmas movie, and I think you should watch it every holiday season, like you do with whatever Christmas movies you want. National Lampoons, not you, Robbie, obviously. Home Alone, Elf, Die Hard. If you want to get into the mix of whether or not it's a Christmas movie, and I'm telling you, like just think about it. Chris, what is a movie? It's, a piece of cinematic work, this case fictional, bunch of great actors. That cast, and for that one episode of TV, goes up against basically any cast of any Christmas movie ever. It's long enough. I feel like it's extra long. It tells the entire story. You don't really have to be attached to anything that happens before or after that episode in the show. And it's just a good ass time, man. So I think it checks out. So I will be adding that to the rotation. So we've already crossed Santa Claus off, and now we've added the Bear Fishes episode.
I couldn't agree more. I already thought about rewatching it. I will note for all the people that haven't seen it yet and are like, oh, maybe I'll check out this show, The Bear. This is not going to make you feel good like other Christmas shows and episodes and movies will, but it'll remind you of certain elements of Christmas, or at least it should. If I think every family at least has a little element of that chaos. Probably not to that level. Well, I would say
hopefully not to that
almost
level.
Definitely not to that level. If you're to that level, I apologize. It's tough. But reminder, I want to remind everyone quick. We are still trying to hit that 50,000 subscriber goal by the end of the year. We're pretty close right now. I think we're 46 something. The first year we did this podcast, I think we hit 10,000 at the end of the year. Next year we hit 35,000. I think it would be a good look for us to at least hit 50 by the end of the year. Also, follow us on TikTok. Our TikTok has been a little stagnant for a while. I post TikToks. I don't check TikTok, so I don't know the friggin' trends, and I don't know all that. So I got to get better with that in the new year. But we are, I think, at My Mom's Basement podcast. It's a long one. One more thing to get out of the way before we get into a huge slate of news. I interviewed Adam Lazzara from Taking Back Sunday this week. That will be out on Friday. So if you're a music fan, Taking Back Sunday fan, we were supposed to go like 30 minutes. I think we went 50. He was such a cool guy, sitting on the porch, smoking cigarettes the whole interview like a true rock star. And we talked about the whole new album. We talked about he just surprised like a diehard set of fans at their wedding. They didn't know he was coming out. The whole band came out and did a song for them. They set it up through the bridesmaid. Great stories, great rock and roll stories, great life stories. So check that out. Now we've got a lot of news to get into. It was actually a surprisingly packed news week after last week on the show. We were like, I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about next week. The first thing, very My Mom's Basement centric, with all of our shows, one of our favorite actors coming to one of our favorite universes. Pedro Pascal has been cast as Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, in the Fantastic Four. I think this is the most official casting we've gotten. Vanessa Kirby seems like a shoo-in for Sue Storm at this point, the way they're talking about it, the way she's talking about it. But this is like concrete, I think. Reed Richards will be the Mandalorian, Oberyn, Joel from The Last of Us. I said he's nearing Chris Pratt levels of like just being in everything, cast in everything. He's going to be the voice of everything. But I'm okay with it. Chris Pratt, he's great. Pedro Pascal, he might be better. I think he's a better actor for sure. So I'm down.
I am down. We love him. We love him. He's our boy. If you and Pedro, you ever come to the basement, more than happy to have you. It's tough when you have like two characters that the same guy plays that are very big deal in your life, and you kind of have to separate them again. I always used to say Carcetti and Littlefinger, that actor. But this guy, he's like 7 different fucking monster characters in my mind already. So it's like, I don't need one more just being lumped into this. And listen, we're not talking like he's going to be some bit role or even like the Silver Surfer or something that may make an appearance here or there. Fucking Mr. Fantastic is the biggest non-X-Men character we're going to be introduced to. Maybe the biggest for some people, considering how big the Fantastic Four is in the Marvel Universe. The fact they just threw this guy who, like you said, Last of Us, Game of Thrones, Mandalorian. Thank God. I don't like when you always have this conversation. We talk about it, and you're like, Clem, you don't really see him as Mandalorian. I'm like, no, the helmet is the Mandalorian in my mind. I know his voice is there, but it's kind of has the alteration with like the machine inside. So I don't even really associate with Mandalorian. Thank God I don't, because my old brain can't take this. And Bob, the most fucking sick and twisted thing of all, everyone keeps telling me how good he is in Narcos. You're like, oh no, he's the Narcos guy. He's the Narcos guy. Pena. My sick brain, after I heard this announcement, I was like, I'm kind of in a mood for some Pedro Pascal. So I started Narcos, and now I have that guy in my brain too. I just threw another character in my brain when I could have just avoided it until after the Fantastic Four. I said, nope, let's just go straight into the Storm, and he's fucking awesome in that as well. So it is weird that I think Marvel could have went with someone that was still awesome, still a big name, and not 18 characters that are still in active monster shows. But hey, man, his fucking agent is honestly maybe like the biggest power player in Hollywood since Ari Gold was making Vinny Chase a super duper star and Medellin and Aquaman and all that stuff.
I'm going to make a big comparison here, and I can't truly like make the comparison one-to-one because I wasn't alive for his heyday, but is Pedro Pascal becoming, this is going to sound crazy, our era's like Harrison Ford in a way, in that Harrison Ford was Han Solo in Indiana Jones, and then he was in fucking Blade Runner, and then he played the president. He was so many big roles in such a short amount of time. And I'd imagine if there was a podcast back in the 80s, there'd be 2 hosts like this talking like, I can't separate Harrison Ford. He's got too many big characters at this point. But he's kind of reaching that level of like, everyone fucking knows Pedro Pascal, and he's like beloved. I don't know anyone that doesn't like him.
And that's probably why he keeps getting the roles, because like, this guy's fucking great. He's a great actor as well. So why not do that? That's a good point with Harrison Ford there. I never thought about that comparison. Who's Harrison Ford when I say Harrison Ford to you? And I know your affinity for a certain franchise, but is he anything? Is he
he's Solo to me forever, but he's also Indiana Jones. After that, pretty much I could throw like, this will hurt Blade Runner fans. I could throw Blade Runner out the window. Yeah,
that's fair. And I'm with you. There's almost a part of me that sees him almost as Indy more, because Star Wars Han Solo isn't the lead in Star Wars. And it's been, I mean, other than his little appearance in Force Awakens, it's been forever since he was just Han Solo for an entire movie. So I could see, actually, he's in Force Awakens a lot. I take that back. But nonetheless, I always think Harrison Ford, I think, is that first, but maybe it kind of just becomes Harrison Ford is like, when I see him on screen, I'm like, that's Harrison Ford. That is not Indiana Jones. That is not Han Solo. He's become like so big. Maybe it's just Pedro Pascal is going to just be himself. It's like, Pedro Pascal is now into the MCU, and now he's in the Star Wars galaxy, and now he's fucking killing drug dealers, all this kind of shit. So very big news for Marvel. This is the thing, though. You know you're going to get a good performance, right? So you're going to at least get that. I didn't know Reed Richards had like that Spanish kind of twist to him they decided to go with here. So
I don't think he generally does in the comics, but I think they threw it in there. People are saying Silver Surfer might be a woman in this, which is already making certain legions of people very upset. Yep. I've also seen, speaking of Indiana Jones, the last Indiana Jones villain, Mads Mikkelsen, who's a great actor and a very good performance in that Indiana Jones movie, has been reached out to about playing Doctor Doom, allegedly, rumors, blah, blah, blah. I think that would be an awesome casting. Like he has that face where he could flip a switch and make you fear him very quickly. And he has almost a monotone voice. Reminds me a little bit of Alan Rickman, like Hans.
Yes. Yep. That's a good one. That's a good comparison. He's he just looks like someone that would play. What was his name? Victor Doom. Yeah, Victor Von Doom.
Victor Von Doom.
And like, if you told me where is, let me get the Mads Mikkelsen. Is that the like, where is he from? I'd say Latveria. And that's where Dr. Doom is from. Like, he does have that foreign Europeanish, I've never heard of your country kind of look to him. So he's an awesome actor. I was like, I never knew his name. I'm just like, that guy. I actually talked to Large about this, and he was telling me that apparently he'll come to the US, he'll like bang out his movies, crush the roles, and then he goes back to wherever he's from. I don't know if it's like Denmark or something, and he does these little small movies and just like wins the Oscars or whatever for them. He just
he did that with Another Round, which I haven't seen, but people love. Apparently, there's this movie Another Round. I think it's in Finnish. Is that what they speak in Denmark? God, I'm really showing off how dumb I am right now. But people loved it and said it was like such a feel-good movie. I know it was one of Jeff's like top rated of the year. It was on movie rankings, so check it out there. But yeah, I think that would be a great casting. Also, John Hamm threw his name in the hat. John Hamm was like, I would love the opportunity to play Dr. Doom in the MCU.
Really?
So that's another one where Mr. Fantastic, we went through a bunch of castings. We thought Adam Driver was going to play him at one point. We thought Jake Gyllenhaal was going to play him at one point. It was like throwing around a bunch of names. If Mads can't do it, but John Hamm can, I like that. I've also seen rumors about Cillian Murphy. Nothing to substance. It seems more fan casting than anything. But Cillian Murphy as Doom would be the creme de la creme in my mind. He's the man right now.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch Oppenheimer now with subtitles and really understand what the hell's going on.
Yeah,
maybe that's on the list for this weekend. All right, you know what? I'm just gonna say it. We've had our takes. We gave our peace of mind. I have to say though, and this is how I feel every time after I think about this casting decision. I honestly love Pedro Pascal. I wish they had just gone someone else. There's so many other actors in Hollywood. I think I need a Pedro Pascal break. You know what I mean?
There is part of me that agrees. Like when I saw it, my initial reaction wasn't like, yes. It was like, oh, all right. Like, well, yeah, all right. And I love him.
If there was 7 actors in Hollywood, I could live with it. There's like 700 million actors in Hollywood. And like Krasinski would have been fine. There's probably
Penn Badgley, I think, was up for it. I think he would have been good, to be honest. I don't know if you know him. He's in that show, You.
Let me take a look here at the
he was up for, there's definitely.
Yes, I know.
Reed Richards, in the end, is just kind of like generic nerd who stretches. Like he's not, this very specific personality type that you have to nail. And it's like, oh, you can't like miscast. Like, I think Reed Richards can be played by a lot of the top names in Hollywood.
Yeah. And I feel like he could be, well, maybe because I'm watching with Narcos now, he could be kind of a ladies' man but it's like, I don't need Reed Richards to be that. I wonder if, I don't know if John Hamm really would do the kind of role that would do good for Reed Richards, but even like a handsome older man could work too. You throw a little salt and pepper in that hair.
Benedict Cumberbatch, I think, would have been perfect. Yeah. He's Doctor Strange, but I watch that performance sometimes. And I'm like, he would be a fucking great Reed Richards.
Now imagine if, Benedict Cumberbatch, he then went to Star Wars and they started a Star Wars franchise and be like, that you don't really need to do that, guys. We already have him as Doctor. It's the same kind of thing. So it's like, I like the character. I like the actor. I'm happy for the actor. I know he's going to deliver, but you can't tell me that was the only guy that would have mattered. And again, this kind of comes back to, it's a good thing. It's probably it's probably like aim small, miss small. But at the same point, it's like, did you guys really need to do? Because think about it. There's a very good chance Fantastic Four, The Last of Us, and The Mandalorian will all have like a new project within, what, a year of each other, the way everything falls. And it's like, I don't need to see Joel, Mr. Fantastic, and Mando all on the fucking same screen by the same fucking person. So,
and don't forget Gladiator 2.
He's in that.
That's going to be around that time, and I think he's a big part of that. I think he's like one of the leads in that.
I mean, again, his agent is the fucking real story.
Yeah.
He's absolutely crushing. And I mean, when you think about it, Medellin was about the cartel and Pablo Escobar, which is exactly what Narcos is about. Let me just say this quick little aside here. Narcos is fucking awesome. And everyone has told me how awesome it was. Have you seen Blow?
Yeah. Blow, yeah. It's not Narcos.
Yeah, so it's very much like Blow in terms of you have this character like narrating everything, except it's from the law enforcement side, and it's straight up like the Pablo Escobar story they're telling, and it's incredible. It's like real history. They show real clips of some stuff, but then there's all the like acting shit. I don't know how to it's not dramatized. Yeah, that's perfect. And I was like 20 minutes in, I'm like, I'm hooked, and it's just as good as everyone said, if not more. So I cannot recommend it enough. But again, the only problem with it is that now I have another goddamn Pedro Pascal in my head.
Pablo Pascal, that's gonna fuck you up too. Now you're watching Pablo Escobar, Pedro Pascal,
and I'll be honest with you, Bob. I probably have slipped in the past. I get Pablo in my head when I see him sometimes, so I don't even know because there's a lot of peas flying around. I'm old.
Pablo Sandoval, that's a baseball player, right?
Wow!
Shout out the Rocket,
Panda, the Kung Fu Panda.
Is he a Red Sox?
He was a very hated Red Sox during his time in Boston. He might have won a World Series because they were such a fucking wagon. But yeah, he's like, if Darren, the way he played is what Frank would make you think Darren Ruff was with the Mets. Except for Darren Ruff had like 10 at-bats with the Mets and went like 1 for 10. You would think he was Pablo Sandoval, who just got fatter every year, worse every year, and like had a god-awful contract.
Well, speaking of villain castings, we just talked Doom. We have a Lex Luthor in Superman Legacy. Nicholas Hoult has been cast as Lex Luthor in James Gunn's new Superman movie. Nicholas Hoult was up for the role of Superman, actually, in this movie, and David Cornsweet beat him out for it. David Cornsweet was seen in the gym this week. He looks like he fucking bulked up to WWE levels for this role, which everyone knew he was going to do, but people were still, when he got cast, like, he's too skinny. It's like, the fuck do you think he's not going to get on Hollywood drugs? Allegedly, don't sue me or anything. But you think he's not going to get on Hollywood steroids and fucking become Superman? Allegedly, reportedly, rumored. Also, Sarah Sampaio is cast as Lex Luthor's assistant, Eve Tessmacher. Sarah Sampaio, from my brief research, is not much of an actress, but she was a Victoria's Secret model who's getting into acting. James Gunn knows how to cast him. And Skylar Gisondo cast as Jimmy Olsen, a great character. Another like great casting. This guy looks like he's Jimmy Olsen straight out of the comics. Like he looks like a little nerd.
I'm taking a look at all three of these guys right now, or people. And I don't think I've seen them in anything. So I'm
Nicholas Hoult, you haven't seen either? Have you seen The Menu or Mad Max?
No. So that's the thing, is that when the Lex Luthor got announced, I just went to the IMDb and I'm like, nope. So I am 0 for 3, blank slate, which is sometimes a good thing, right? I'm surprised Pedro Pascal didn't get a fucking role. And your Lex Luthor is Pedro
You're like, you
Pascal.
Want to shave that head? Yeah. So he's really good. He's like a really good actor and really eclectic. Like you watch his performance in Mad Max and he plays a fucking psychopath. He's like unrecognizable. And then you watch The Menu and he plays such a almost like nuanced douchebag who you learn to hate throughout the course of the movie. I think he plays that slimy role so well. And the fact that he was up for Superman and lost out and is now like playing Superman's enemy, there's got to be a real life dynamic that bleeds in there. So I really like all of these castings, to be honest. I mean, the next two I don't feel as strongly about, but Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor I love.
I'm going to do a little bit of fan fiction. I want everyone just to like go along with him. We're going to all agree to do this in our minds. Because like there's a chance he says this after it comes out in like the interviews and stuff. James Gunn purposely had Nicholas Hoult read for Superman, knowing he was going to pass on him, to then hire him and cast him as Lex Luthor to give that extra oomph in terms of the hatred of Superman. And that's just the genius James Gunn at work. All right, boom. There's our clip. There's our completely unsubstantiated rumor. But if we all just like, if I Mandela affected for you guys, you're going to believe when the movie comes out. And when we're all like, oh my God, that was so good. He fucking brought that kind of fire from the Guardians to the DCU. We're going to go back and say, oh, by the way, do you know that Nicholas Hoult read for Superman? And it was only because James Gunn wanted him to really hate him because he didn't get the role. And he didn't even call him about Lex Luthor for months just to really let it hang out there. So, yeah, I've decided to do that right now. And as for Sarah Sampaio, very lovely lady. I'm very interested to see what you do. And this guy, Skylar Gazondo, is a straight up nerd. He's a straight up nerd. He's 5'7" too. So he's a little guy. Jimmy has to be a little guy, I feel. So
yeah.
I'm not.
It makes Superman look even bigger.
Yep, we're not talking down to our short kings. We got nothing but love for you guys. I think Jimmy needs to be kind of a nerdy, boyish, shorter kind of dude to look with what's his name, just jacked out of his mind. Apparently, I haven't seen these pictures. Have they been released?
There's just one picture of him, and you can't even really tell it's him. They could have just put out a picture of a bodybuilder. He's like sitting down in the gym, looking down, and you could just tell his arms are now the size of my head. So he's been putting in the work.
I would like to see like a super comically big Superman. It would be kind of like if the Rock guy's Superman.
Yeah.
Right? I guess we got that with Black Adam already. It was basically the same thing.
You know, if you're trying to do that.
There we go, Bob.
How about some C4 Ultimate Energy pre-workout? C4 Ultimate Energy has partnered with the WWE to help you unleash your inner WWE superstar. They've teamed up to provide ultimate undisputed energy, packing a powerful punch of 300 milligrams of caffeine in delicious WWE-inspired flavors like the Ruthless Raspberry I got here. That's the blue one. And then the red one, the Berry Power Bomb. They're both delicious, both absolutely like go down sweet. They're not like normal energy drinks where I feel like they hurt my stomach right away. These are zero sugar. It's great stuff. It's the preferred choice of supercharged energy for WWE superstars like Seth freaking Rollins. And with zero sugar and 300 milligrams of caffeine, that'll leave you feeling larger than life. It's time to step into the ring with C4 Ultimate Energy in WWE. Grab the new C4 Ultimate Energy WWE flavors today at GNC online or find them near you at findc4.com. Big weekend for WWE. It's Survivor Series weekend, which is one of the big four. No UFC this weekend, so WWE is just on an island by themselves. They're doing War Games as their Survivor Series this time. So it's 5-on-5, but 2 rings surrounded by 1 steel cage. It's going to be crazy. I'm excited for it.
So they're so it's a little Survivor Series meets War Games. I'm just happy Survivor Series is still around. Because I'm happy they haven't strayed from the Thanksgiving tradition as well. Has that been consistent? Beautiful. Love to hear
Usually it's always November. So it's like sometimes it's like the weekend before Thanksgiving or something, but it's always pretty similar. I actually got to post the clip. My brother was texting me about it. He just rewatched, I think, Survivor Series 89, and they start the pay-per-view with like each superstar like cutting a promo like this. They're like, I'll tell you what I'm thankful for, brother. And they each like say what they're thankful for. The $1 Million Man's like, money. You know, like it's like ridiculous, but classic 80s, early 90s WWF.
I like just hearing that stuff and thinking I could still see the VHS box at the video store where I used to rent it. Those old school wrestling pay-per-views just warm my soul. And it really does. Like, it's funny how something you don't even watch anymore, but you just love to hear that they haven't changed everything too much. Like when people heard that Homer was no longer choking Bart, people are up in arms about a 10-year-old not getting choked in 2023. And then when still the Simpsons like, no, he's choking him. Don't worry. I was like, yes, thank God. Like, when was the last time you watched Simpsons? 2004, but I don't care. As long as he's choking Bart still. So I'm just happy to hear everything's the same. I have to watch that old school clip though. There's probably some gold back from those early 90s pay-per-views.
Oh yeah, the gobbledygooker.
Yeah, that someone that lived through the gobbledygooker. Let me tell you, that was, and this is before internet rumors and everything, where they like build stuff up for you and whatever, or you get like a tip. That was the most disappointing moment of my life, maybe as like a human, let alone a wrestling fan.
Worse than the Phantom Menace, yeah.
Yes, because just because Darth Jar Jar never happened. That's the only reason.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But man, that was absolutely brutal. And little tip for people out there. I saw this on Instagram. I got a targeted ad. They're very good on there, I've learned. they're redoing Wrestling Buddies, and they made
yeah.
they made a Hulk Hogan one. And I'll tell you, Bob, usually I'm an educated consumer on the internet. I like to go around, I'll check my prices, find my coupon codes, get the free shipping, all that kind of stuff. I saw that and I went click, 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 and just enter my stuff on my phone. I didn't even go on the computer. Usually I do everything on the computer because it's easier. And I just needed that thing in my house ASAP. I have somehow not opened it. I'm either giving it to myself for Christmas or I'm giving it to AJ for Christmas. But I'm telling you, I'm beating the shit out of that thing. I cannot wait.
You and AJ in a handicap match against the Wrestling Buddy is going to be content.
He said to me the other day, he goes, Dad, I wish I just had like a pillow I could beat up. I'm like, oh, buddy, you have no clue what's waiting for you right now. It was always weird that you get your favorite guy and then kick the shit out of your favorite guy, right? But it's like no one wanted to get the $1 Million Man and then like have him in your
like
room.
Sergeant Slaughter or something. Yeah, no. All right, so some Star Wars news that made me so happy yesterday to read when it came across the timeline on X. I almost said Twitter. I don't like saying X. I actually,
we do not say X on this podcast. We do not acknowledge
I haven't updated my app, so it's still Twitter.
Oh, that's awesome! I was so mad when that happened to me. I just saw it. I go, oh, I got, and that was a while ago. I don't even know how that's possible.
It's been months. Yeah, I still got it. The bird at the top. I still get Twitter notifications. It's great.
Bob is just like he has 18 hackers just living in his phone because he hasn't updated his software in so long.
There's the news though. Dave Filoni has been promoted to Chief Creative Officer at Lucasfilm, where he will work directly with Kathleen Kennedy, overseeing the future of Star Wars stories. He's basically Loki at this point. It sounds like he's the god of stories for Star Wars, sitting on the throne that he should have had in the first place. This news gave me the same reaction as I think it was Daredevil, or there was some Marvel news weeks ago that was like, going forward, we're going to have showrunners for these shows, and we're going to give them the proper necessary materials they need to make shows. It's like, what the fuck? Why wasn't that the way it was going all along? Why wasn't Dave Filoni in this position from the time George Lucas sold to Disney? Like, he was the heir to the empire, literally. Why didn't George hook him up and make that part of the contract?
You realize just how dumb, like, corporations are, big businesses, and it's like they get there on just luck or one or two people who are super talented and the rest of the bozos just stealing a paycheck and going home. I'm happy for him. I think it's good for the brand as well. I don't really know if Kathleen Kennedy should still be a part of this. I don't know enough to have a feeling.
I don't know enough either. I defended her big time for years, especially like when The Last Jedi was what people were coming at or whatever. I was like, come on. I love The Last Jedi. At this point, I also don't know. I just don't know. I don't know enough. But it seems like there has been a bunch of missteps when you look at the amount of projects that have been on the slate and canceled, or on the slate and then they had to bring in someone else to finish it. There's very few movies at this point that like started with one director and ended with one director. I think it's just The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. I think those are literally the only two Disney era movies that just kept the same director throughout the whole thing, it's alarming. But I don't know if that's Kathleen Kennedy's fault. I have no idea. Maybe it's her fault for announcing prematurely projects. I don't know.
There's a lot of things involved, especially when you have a new boss and it's Disney and it's, money and just all the crazy shit that goes into it. But that was during like the good old days for Disney when they were making money hand over fist. Now it's like, all right, we have to be smarter, work smarter, not harder, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, my wife asked me this morning randomly. She was like, "Oh, how many Star Wars movies have there been?" And I was just going through like the original trilogy and then Rogue One, and then I'm like, and Solo, and then I'm thinking of the sequel trilogy, and I just started getting mad and sad. So, but Filoni, for the most part, everything he does. Now, how involved was he with Andor?
I don't think he was very involved in Andor. Someone posted the clip of Tom walking into the office in Succession, like with his whole team of people, like being the big swinging dick. And it said like Dave Filoni on his way to the Andor set to force a Dexter Jetster cameo into season 2. That made me laugh. It was good. Let me ask you this about the sequel trilogy too. Could the characters be redeemed for you? Because they're doing a new Rey movie with Daisy Ridley. I saw she just came out and was like, the script wasn't what I expected. Like, I know what the whole story is for the first movie. If that movie nails it for you, do you think the movie can nail it for you? Or are you going in like, I don't like these characters in the first place?
No, because I think we've seen enough where other Star Wars and other franchises have done enough where they remember we did it like Age of Ultron, and then once WandaVision
Yeah.
and everything, we're like, oh, like looking back now, it's a lot better. And I think that movie just was suffered from really high expectations. I do think there's other ways to build it up. I'll never watch The Last Jedi and be like, man, I just love that. I don't know what I was thinking 10 years ago. But I think there is a way where I'll be like, all right, I've never had a problem with Rey. I liked Kylo.
Yeah.
That's part of it. And I'm like, you guys had some good shit going, and you just completely bungled it to the point where Last Jedi, me and everyone who hated Last Jedi, that's when we bailed. Then Rise of Skywalker, everyone bailed, and it was like the people who love Last Jedi, and then there was like Robbie and 17 other people who were like, we're good. That was awesome. We're fucking ready to rock. And even then,
and like years have passed, and I still rewatch Rise of Skywalker and enjoy the shit out of it. But like, ooh, yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, I wanted it to be better than it was in the moment for sure. The Last Jedi, I don't feel that way about though. The Last Jedi is one of my most rewatched movies in general. Movies, not Star Wars movies. I love The Last Jedi. We got it. One day maybe we should just get in the gambling cave and do an electric chair for The Last Jedi.
I remember when during the pandemic, we were rewatching like all the old Star Wars with Lights, Camera, Barstool. And like at some point, the fucking new sequel trilogy is going to come, and there's going to be me, Grumpy Pants, versus.
I don't think we ever did the sequel trilogy, did we?
Never did. Thank God. I worked extra hard on getting the vaccine so we could start opening things up, so I didn't have to watch The Last Jedi again. I gave my body to science. So
yeah.
get that thing just plugged me with every vaccine until it worked. Oh God. So yeah, that would be a very interesting. My history in the electric chair, it's like my teams get their guts ripped out or usually just blown out in big games. It would basically be right on par with everything other.
Yeah.
I actually, a little bit of news that I don't think is on your list. I found this out today, though, right before we went live. Apparently, let me make sure I get the right order here because I don't want to say the wrong guy. Daryl Hall is suing John Oates.
What? Our guys,
man. And I'm like, well, there goes my last chance to ever see them together again because they're fucking suing each other.
They're suing each other over what? Like music rights or something like that? Business?
According to the messenger.com, contract debt lawsuit and temporary restraining order in Nashville. So
a restraining order. John Oates is suing Daryl Hall, or Daryl Hall suing John Oates. What did you say?
It says Daryl Hall is suing John Oates.
So he's suing our guy.
I know.
Damn, go back and listen to that interview. That was one of the rare Robbie and Clem music interviews we did together. That was a super random one, but very fun.
It was, and that was right after I had gotten, like, I missed the concert. It was the weirdest, like, set of coincidence, serendipity, if you want to say. And then, boom, got that. So because the New York Mets choked away their lead to the Braves and then decided to make it to game 3 of the wild card and then lose, I missed my friends going to Mohegan Sun, had a suite, went to Tao, and then went to see Hall and Oates. And I missed all that to have Frank yell for 3 hours right in my left ear as I watched my team slowly crap out the most fun season I had in years. Good times.
And you're still hearing about the Dragons. I still see that in replies sometimes, like, oh, he's probably watching Dragons. I'm like, oh man, I feel bad about that.
Speaking of which, I'm wearing it right now. Christmas is coming. Dragon shirt. This is one of the sweaters. This is a Bob Fox original. Absolutely crushed last year. Guess what? Is House of the Dragon one of the news items?
No, it's not actually.
All right. Coming back, I believe they said summer 2014. So look,
2024, not 2014.
Jesus, not even close. Not even close. Let's do the thumbs up. Does this?
Oh yeah, can you get? Oh
yeah, Christmas is coming. So get your shirts at the Barstool store. Store.barstoolsports.com. Is it 20? Is it gonna be 20% off on Friday? Is that the number? I don't want to promise.
Black Friday, I believe it is. Yeah, Black Friday, and we'll do a Cyber Monday telethon as we do every year. It's always very fun.
Yep, and anything we go above the number that Dave sets, he's going to give to the producers, to the social people, to the people that keep the lights on here at Barstool, so all of us idiots can have our fun in the sandbox. So you're helping them out, you're helping us out. And listen, if you get anything to the basement boys and girls, help keep the basement lights on. Even if you didn't get anything from us or like through our links or anything like that, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Just tweet at Stool Presidente, be like, I bought this because at Robbie and at Clem told me to. Nice. And that just gets, at the very least, gets us off Dave's radar of like killing somebody and murdering them on Twitter because
Yeah.
someone's going to fuck up.
Someone's going to get it. Yeah.
Me and Bob will not be that unless
No.
one of us goes into a coma. We will be tweeting our asses
I'll
off.
post too much, like people will unfollow me, and I'm okay with that to get out of Dave's bad graces. Or I'm not in Dave's bad graces, but you want to be in his good graces.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to do our best to stay out of his bad graces and to stay in his good graces. And you guys can help us too. If there's any shirts you want, Bob's shirt. I know you have the bear shirt.
The bear. And I also I might have it in my closet here. Hold on.
Bob says, yes, chef. It's the picture of the chef from Bear, which of course I cannot name, which is actually kind of crazy.
I got 2 this year. The bear.
Good shirt. Again, it's going to be a good talking point because a lot of people who watch that show love talking about it. Can wear it at the Thanksgiving at Christmas parties. You get it for Thanksgiving. Wear it at the table then. And what else we got, Bob?
This one is specifically for the basement boys and girls.
Across
the Santaverse. See, that's all the Santas pointing at each other like Spider-Man. I actually thought of this as a comic idea. I thought, what if there's a multiverse of Santas, and that's how they actually deliver all the presents? I don't know if that's ever been done before, but I actually think it's a good idea for like a little cute Christmas movie. Everyone's doing a multiverse thing right now. All the Santas meet each other. And just like across the Spider-Verse, it's like you got a fat Santa, you got a skinny Santa, you got a tall Santa, you got a short Santa, you got a race car Santa, you got a horse Santa. And it's just all these Santas teaming up to make Christmas happen. I feel like that could work.
I think an African American Santa would have played on the shirt too.
Oh, yeah. We should have done that. We should have done that. We should have done an African American one and like maybe an Asian one too.
Yeah.
We should have just made it like We Are the World Santas.
Alligator Santa, like Alligator Loki.
Yes, but like that could work as a Christmas movie. Who do we pitch this to? Do we know any people that
Waldron,
Alex Sulkin? Waldron?
He could write it. He could write it for us.
That'd be fire.
How do we get this done? Yep. So
listen, if you buy those, if we hit the bonus on that, we'll put some of the money towards trying to get that kickstarted into a movie or show. All right. So speaking of Christmassy things, a new season of What If is hitting Disney Plus on December 22nd. And they are planning on dominating Christmas break because a new episode is dropping every single day throughout Christmas break. So starting on December 22nd, 9 new episodes will drop, 1 per day. There's a trailer out. It looks good. Animation style looks same as last season, which I enjoyed. I know it got some criticism, but I definitely got used to it by the end of the season. I think it's interesting. Last season, looking back, there were, I want to say like 3 or 4 episodes I thought were super memorable, and the rest kind of blend into each other. I look back at the Doctor Strange one the most fondly. I look back at Marvel Zombies. The first Captain Carter one, I think, just because it was the first one, so it really like made a mark. And then the finale I thought was pretty good too, when they did the Guardians of the Multiverse or whatever they called that. This season looks good, but they're going back to like another Captain Carter episode. They're going to follow up and do a sequel to that. I wish they got even crazier with it, and maybe they will get crazier with it this season. I am looking forward to What If Happy Hogan saved Christmas the most.
Yeah, so I'll go through the list of the episodes here. So, and this is the coolest thing. I love this. They're releasing an episode every single day from like December 22nd, right? And there's one a day for 10 episodes. And the episodes are: what if Nebula joined the Nova Corps? What if Peter Quill attacked Earth's Mightiest Heroes? What if Kaori reshaped the world? What if Hela found the 10 rings? What if Iron Man crashed into the Grandmaster? What if Happy Hogan saved Christmas? What if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper? What if the Avengers assembled in 1602? What if Strange Supreme intervened? So the Happy Hogan thing will be fun. I am pretty much partial to at least the first 2 with the Guardians being involved. I love my Guardians stuff. This Avengers assembled in 1602. The 1602
That's interesting.
Universe. It's like basically, from what I can gather, it was a comic book run where everything, instead of happening in like the 90s, it's 1600s, and they're around without fucking electricity, and it's just whatever the fuck was going on in the 1600s. That is going to be very, very interesting. The one thing I hope for this series is that I don't want them connected. That was the one thing I didn't like about the other series. I always I don't know if What If had like a lot of continuity, but whenever I bought them at the comic store, it was just a one and done, and it would always be weird, trippy shit with characters you liked that like were in these interesting, unique situations that you never thought of. So it's like I'm hoping they just kind of go on their own, but I feel like they're going to probably stick with the same kind of story.
The Hydra Stomper is like a direct continuation from their episode in season 1, and then the What If Strange Supreme intervened. I think that is also playing right off, like, you know, he became like Supreme Strange or whatever in the first season, which if you're going to watch any episode of What If, I think that is the one. That was really, really cool. Just seeing him like become, you know, an evil Doctor Strange and go down that bad path. And Hank Pym was evil in that too, I think, or maybe that was a different episode. Evil Hank Pym was, no, I think he was in a different episode, but he was good too. The voices are a big part too. Like the more real voices you can get, the better. And they don't have all the real voices, which hurts a little bit.
Definitely hurts a little bit. I know some people didn't love the release where it's one a day, but I personally like it because I just like it's like, all right, and you know what? I have like half hour now. Let me just bang out the What If for today, because that time of year, it's like there's really nothing going on in terms of like you get some bowl games here or there. They usually suck. You have your NFL Sunday once a week. You have whatever NBA games or whatever you might be into in terms of sports. But I remember, like, I always said this. What was the name of the Sandra Bullock movie where she's blind, like she is blindfolded, like Bird
Box.
Bird Box. That became like a viral sensation because I think no one else had shit to do, and they were just sitting at home. And I think this weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, and then Christmas week, I think everyone's just home doing nothing, and I don't think that movie deserved the amount of like views it got.
It didn't.
I didn't watch it, but I know it became like a big meme.
It's fine. It wasn't. I don't think it was bad, but yeah, it was. It like was everywhere. People still post the meme of the guy like holding the eyes open.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then you have what's it called? I remember back in the day, in Fortnite. Remember, you get like the one gift a day, and you're like, "Oh, what are we getting today under the tree?" This is kind of like the MCU version of that. And I'm gonna make a call here. I think that there's going to be something in this series, maybe in the finale, that's going to lead to X-Men 97 coming back. I think it's
a good
call.
Kind of
open that universe or multiverse, and somehow, some way, it's because that is awesome. Coming up soon, right? I feel like that is coming.
I think 2024. I think.
Yeah, I think. Let me see.
We heard about it so many years ago. They announced it.
Yeah, January 3rd. So it's coming out right after.
Wait. No way.
What?
January 3rd, 2024, X-Men 97?
I'm looking for the latest. Stuff here. It's early. It's a lot of stuff says late 2023, which was old stories. Wow. Now it says early 2024.
Why haven't we heard more about that? Why haven't we gotten a trailer?
Because they're trying to save it for the big reveal happening during What If, and they're gonna go, oh shit. I mean, economictimes.indiatimes.com is where it says January. So maybe I'm eating the
garbage. That might not be true. I don't know if there's a release date for that yet.
Let's see. According to the Wikipedia, which is always correct, it says early 2024. So they're not committing to an actual date here. I'm personally going to believe it is January 3rd.
You're going to set yourself up for disappointment.
No, the MCU's never done that, right? It's like fucking Ralph Boner in my face. God damn it.
He also got a deleted scene release this week. Did you see that?
Oh, I saw it, Bob. I saw the deleted scene. I saw it through like a website that took it and put it in their own video player. So I sat through like 4 ads, and then I saw the deleted scene, which was the biggest, fattest nothing burger of all time. And I go,
nothing.
That was the final Ralph Boner joke. It was perfect. It actually made me happy that I sat through it again. And go, this is what you sat through with WandaVision. You sat through all these things that you thought were going to be huge, and nothing came out of it. So it was a good life lesson to just be like, nothing special is gonna happen. Fucking Mr. Fantastic was supposed to be in the MCU like 4 years ago, according to our dumb brains, right?
Yeah.
The
aerospace engineer.
Aerospace engineer. God damn it, man.
Let's tell the people about Factor. This holiday season, you might be looking for some nutritious, convenient meals to keep you energized on jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help fuel you up fast for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tackling all of your holiday to-dos. Too busy with holiday plans to cook, but want to make sure you're still eating well? With Factor, skip the extra trip to the grocery store and the chopping, prepping, and cleaning up too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality that you need. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat them up and enjoy. Looking for calorie-conscious options over the holidays that also taste great? Try delicious, dietitian-approved, calorie-smart meals with around or less than 550 calories per serving. And if you need an extra boost for your wellness goals and to feel your best during the holidays, try the Protein Plus meals with 30 grams of protein per serving. This November, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered right to your door. Head to factormeals.com/Robbie50, ROBBIE50, and use that same promo code Robbie50 to get 50% off. That's code Robbie50 at factormeals.com/Robbie50 to get 50% off. That is a great deal, courtesy of our friends at Factor.
I'm hungry now with my Factor stuff. I believe Factor might be the ones who are sponsoring
Surviving Barstool.
Surviving Barstool.
They are.
Next week. I cannot wait. I have not found out a thing about the show. I am just going.
I won't tell you then because I know some stuff. I was there for it, and it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. It debuts after Cyber Monday. So after the telethon, it'll go right into Surviving Barstool. I promise you, if you're a Barstool fan, you're going to love it. If you're not a Barstool fan, you're just more of a basement boy or girl, this could get you into Barstool. You'll get all the dynamics. You'll get all the personalities. This is the real deal. Like great content. I'm very much looking forward to it.
I've heard a lot of chatter just like offline through text and stuff being like, holy shit, this crazy stuff happened, blah, blah, blah. It's not people promoting stuff to, on tweets or anything.
Yeah, no, just privately. Yeah.
That's how I know it's definitely good. So Jeff was saying, we did an episode of The Dozen and he said like one of the episodes that's airing after our Dozen match. He's like, this one is absolutely fucking bananas. Like, trust me on this one, guys.
Well, I'm excited too because I was in the office for all of it, but you're like, so much of the game is done in private conversations. So I didn't see 90% of the actual conversations. I just saw the challenges and the eliminations or whatever. So I'm excited to see like the flip side and how we got there. It's almost like watching like a Tarantino movie. Like I got to go piece together what happened,
And I do feel like a lot of the drama for that show is going to spill. It's probably already spilled into the content. And I feel like it's going to continue going, down the road. So I'm very interested to see how that all shakes out.
I've noticed a few little comments and I'm like, did they make that comment because of the show? Or I don't know. Some little notes before we get out of here. Loki and Moon Knight directors have reportedly expressed interest in directing Secret Wars, which this is like, I would love for them to get the job and whatnot, but they just apparently said we'd be down to do it. And why wouldn't you if it's going to be Secret Wars, which could be one of the biggest movies ever. Ke-Huy Quan said that the MCU was at the top of his wish list when he came back to acting, and he broke down in tears when Kevin Feige called him and offered him the job on Loki because he wanted to reunite, being that they worked together on the first X-Men movie. Kevin Feige is like a producer, Ke-Huy Quan as a stunt double or a stunt director, stunt choreographer. I thought that was just sweet. And then the final little note that I had was Aman Vellani refuses to watch Dark Phoenix. Same.
Oh, same. We're on the same boat. And again, to the people who, for anyone from Marvel that is listening, feel free to just redo the Dark Phoenix saga whenever like the X-Men come in. Trust me, the first two swings were the first one was like a miss. The second one was like miss, spin, fall on the ground, that flies out of your hands, your fucking underwear, your goes around your ankles. That was an absolute disaster. And it's such a good story. It was one of those stories that really made me go from like liking the X-Men to loving the X-Men when I went back and read it. So you guys can take another swing at that. But also, like, I kind of am excited with the X-Men in terms of seeing, again, I don't think they're going to just use Magneto for every little thing, right? So I'm hoping we talked about that in the past. But as for the rest of the news, I think I would have the Loki people ahead of the Moon Knight people, right? I think that's fair to say.
Well, they're the same people, apparently.
Oh, it's the same people. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it's a team of it's a duo. I don't know if they're brothers. Let me see. Loki directors.
Because I enjoyed Loki more than Moon Knight, obviously, and I think the biggest gripe we had with Moon Knight is Moon Knight just was not in it enough, right?
They're not brothers. Yeah, it's Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, I believe. They are a duo. They did Moon Knight, they did Loki, they're doing Daredevil, Born Again, and in movies they've done a couple movies, but it doesn't look like anything huge.
So Secret Wars, I think the one thing I've learned, first of all, I'm just gonna I won't go on a rant, but I have to admit that Secret Wars, I have the bad taste in my mouth from Secret Invasion, just the word secret, and I'm just like, well, they're gonna fuck that one up. I should not think that. I should think everything's gonna be fine, right? Because it's gonna be such a big project and it's such a monster in the comics, and I'm just like, give me. I don't like if you got to use the Russos again, just because it's like
I was
they
thinking
fucking
that too.
crushed it. Like I'm fine with that.
But would they want to come back? Because they had the perfect,
I wouldn't.
perfect ending. I don't think I'd want to come back either. You're
Like,
like, I made more money than any movie ever at the time. Like, yeah, I don't want to come back and potentially like fuck up. The Russos right now to comic book fans are gods.
yeah, and this is the thing. If you're sports, and I got my sports analogy of the weekend right at the end. Good thing I got it in now. Phil Jackson leaves the Bulls after winning the two three-peats. And he doesn't come back and coach the bum ass Knicks that had Eddie Curry. He came back and coached Kobe and Shaq, right? So he is not getting Kobe and Shaq if the MCU is where it is in a few years, which I imagine is going to be, right? Like,
Are Kobe and Shaq Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman?
That's fair. If I guess, yeah, by that point, if they could build this thing back up to Kobe and Shaq levels, then I think they could do it. Then it's a matter of will they want to. But I would you're just going in and just asking to tarnish your own name if you're taking anything close to the MCU the way it is now, and then trying to make it a Secret War, especially after saw how Secret Invasion ended up. Which, by the way, which one caused Jose to start breathing heavy? Was it Secret Invasion?
Unfortunately, it was Invasion, which he was so excited about. Yeah.
Did he have? Do you know if he's seen it? I really hope he hasn't. I just hope he didn't
I don't
watch
think
it.
he
Like,
has. I think I texted him
pass.
about it and said, yeah, like this is not the Secret Invasion that you thought it was going to be.
I don't, because Jose is not like us. He doesn't get mad. I think he just gets sad.
Yeah, I texted him about the Marvels because Jose, we've talked about. He's like he wants to know the spoilers because he's not going to see a lot of these movies.
Yeah.
So he texted me. He's like, "How is the Marvels?" I said, "It's pretty much what you would expect." He was like, "Ooh." I was like, "Yeah." And then I said, "Good post credit scene though," and I explained the whole post credit scene to him, and he was like, "All right, sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good."
I like that. The fact he doesn't like The Boys bums me out, but I think it's because of the comics, not the shows.
Yeah, he hasn't watched the show, but I'm on. So I haven't finished Gen V yet. I haven't, because it's Gen V is a couple show. I watch with my girlfriend, so we got to watch it together. I caught up on Invincible alone. I watched all of season 2, so I'm caught up on Invincible. Gen V, I think we're on episode 6 now, but loving it, like absolutely loving Gen V. It's amazing. I love Cricket.
Yes, Cricket's awesome. Cricket's
oh my
awesome.
God. I think this was in the trailer, so I don't think this is like too spoiler heavy. The scene where she actually goes through the guy's ear. Oh my God. She comes out looking like Carrie. Metal. Yeah. A lot of metal in this show. Yeah. Really, really good though. Like, I don't think it's quite the level of The Boys. I saw a lot of people when it was on, like, it's just as good as The Boys. I don't feel like it's just as good as The Boys, but maybe that's because I know and love The Boys characters so much by now. I feel like it's just a level below, but very close.
I'm with you. It's the junior varsity to The Boys' varsity, in my opinion. And it's not even a knock on Gen V because I consider Gen V, again, it just makes me angry that they can do a show like this with characters we don't know. And it's better than anything the MCU has basically been pumping out other than established franchise like Guardians. It is extremely gory. It might be gorier than some of The Boys seasons, because it gets pretty fucking gnarly. Just
the puppet gore, that was good.
Oh, so fucking good. So I was wondering if you had gotten to that part yet. But like the characters, again, we've had a lot more with The Boys, so I feel like there is some more background. But I don't know, like the adult characters just bring more than kids, and there is still the high school, college, the young kids. They have to kind of talk like those shows or whatever, and that's just not my speed. I'm too goddamn old. Probably my kids are closer to their age than I am. But I mean, perfect. I heard they're gonna just keep rolling. It's gonna go Gen V rolls into The Boys, and then The Boys rolls into Gen V. I'm sure they'll have another spinoff at some point because Jeff Bezos has more money than God, and that universe is just absolutely crushing. So I love Gen V. I finished it with the wife too, who loved it as well. We do The Boys as well. We watch that's a couple show for us, and then I watched Invincible solo, and everyone nailed it. Like it is. I'd say I'd have The Boys a little higher.
Oh, I agree.
but I know some people say some people think Invincible's better or it's, equal. For me personally, I'm less of a cartoon guy, but I mean, I fucking love it. I finished season 1. I started season 2, first episode. So I think I have 2 more left.
Dude, season 2, episode 3, the most recent one, is as good as any episode. It was like, and not even in like a massive stakes way, just the whole way the episode is put together. I was like blown away. I think it's so good.
The way they started episode 1 of season 2, where they kind of, I won't give anything away. I was like, that was very good. That was very smart. So I imagine episode 3 will have the same kind of like well done side of it. But it's really is a must watch for any comic book fan. Just watch the first episode.
Yeah.
And if you're out from, and listen, I watched it and I won't give anything away, but I stopped watching for another reason. But I came back in and I'm so happy I powered through it. It's better than anything Marvel.
The season 1 finale is talk about gore and blood and guts and like it's basically rated R. Like this is a very much a cartoon for adults, and they're explicit about that. Another one like What If, where the voice cast helps so much. If they just had a regular voice cast, cartoon voice cast, no disrespect to cartoon voice actors, I think I'd be less invested. But the fact that it's like Stephen Yeun and J.K. Simmons and like these amazing
people,
Sandra Seth Rogen, like awesome voices that you recognize right away. And it's Amazon, so if you don't recognize them, you flip up the little thing and they tell you an X-ray. Sure. Oh, it's the best. So yeah, Invincible and The Boys. If you're in a Marvel drought where you're like craving some superheroes, but you haven't checked those out yet, oh my God, you must check those out.
That's the perfect Thanksgiving or Christmas kind of like watch list where I need to catch up on something and I'm just laying around the house, want to just burn a couple hours. I'd say jump into either of those. You have to have Prime, but all you do is you don't have to get Peacock and this. They're both on the same thing. Get your gifts a little quicker. I'm fucking chilling for goddamn Jeff Bezos.
For Bezos.
How about you buy a goddamn sweater for Portnoy so we don't get fired?
Come on.
And then get your Prime. I loved it so much. And another one I heard of, which I haven't talked to you about, I heard from Large, and then I heard from Dragonfly Jones, who's my favorite Twitter follow, and both who I didn't know were into anime. I think it's anime, is the Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Haven't heard
about this?
No.
The Blue-Eyed Samurai, I believe it's on Netflix, and I believe it is...
Large is watching anime?
Yeah, I believe so. Again, I'm
no disrespect to anime, but I'm just out of Large, I'm shocked.
So it's animated. Now, so it's an anime-influenced Western TV series called Blue-Eye Samurai.
Oh, so it's Western, so be careful with the anime term. I don't think they like that if it's Western. Oh, it looks like anime, though. I'm looking at pictures. It's anime.
Right. Okay.
It's fucking anime.
I've heard it is. So 9 out of 10 here on IMDb, 4.7 out of 10 on whatever this review site is. It's a Netflix show. And I heard that there's an episode called The Tale of the Ronin and the Bride, episode 5. It's only one season, so you don't have to catch up on a ton. I've heard that episode goes toe-to-toe with anything you watch this year. And Dragonfly Jones, who's, again, my favorite dude on Twitter, funny guy as well, he said he thought the best episode he would watch this year was the Last of Us episode with Bill and
oh yeah,
and he said this surpassed it, and that's the fact he's had that episode that high, and then he says this passes that. I'm like, guess I'm getting into another cartoon series.
Anime, yeah.
Anime. What did Portnoy call it?
Anime.
Yeah. Anime. So I guess you're getting into some anime. Ken Jack is like, yes, I knew I get these guys finally. Yeah. So,
or is he like, that's not fucking anime?
Yeah. There's no tentacle porn in this one. That's bullshit.
What's the hashtag for this week? What did we talk about this week? Dave Filoni, Pedro. Oh, Pablo Pascal.
Pablo. I was going to say just something after fucking. He's like, you know what he is? He's a real life variant. He just has all these different variants of him, and he just fucking. So yeah, hashtag Pablo Pascal.
Into the Pedro verse.
Into the Pedro verse. Good word.
By the way, that's on Netflix now. Oh, Pedro versus all the different Pedro Pascals. That's
Yes, and
pretty
they're all
good.
pointing at each other. And if we
That's pretty
make it
good.
where they don't exactly look like it, like he doesn't have the Mando helmet on,
Yeah. Make it
Last
look
of
like The
Us.
Rock's a wax figure, just make him white or something.
Yeah, exactly. One of the
Have
all-time
The
funniest
Rock
things.
having to call them out and be like, can you change my skin color to match mine is crazy.
I'm like a beloved hero as Samoan people, and we're
He's like,
not
you
willing
know
to
me
switch
like The
whites.
Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Have you heard of me? Yeah.
I got to know, Bob. I got to know what the Thanksgiving like. What's your Thanksgiving take here? Because I know our food takes usually tear us apart. Are you a turkey guy? Or are you anti-turkey?
I'm a turkey guy,
Me too.
but I'm more of a ham guy.
Don't love that. Don't love
Yeah,
that.
I'll do. See, I do like an obligatory turkey and gravy because it's Thanksgiving and I have to have it, and I'll enjoy it. But I'll load my fucking plate with ham. I love it, Thanksgiving ham.
So you're rocking two meats at the table.
Yeah.
Wow. God
Oh yeah.
bless you guys. God bless you.
Also, we're bringing stuff this year. We've brought stuff past couple years. I think I'm finally getting to that age. I want to ask you about this. I was never, ever, ever growing up a mac and cheese with Thanksgiving kid. I didn't even know people had mac and cheese with Thanksgiving until I met my girlfriend. She was like, "Oh, you want to bring mac and cheese?" I was like, "Mac and cheese sounds fucking awesome. Why don't we do mac and cheese for Thanksgiving?" So that's kind of our thing. We bring mac and cheese. We're doing Brussels sprouts. I think my girlfriend's making like a peach cobbler. Are you a mac and cheese guy at Thanksgiving?
Mac and cheese on Thanksgiving is one of those things that you don't know exists until the internet happens. That's what happened to
Yeah.
me. It's like 3 or 4 years ago. It became like a big debate. And it's not the blue box. You're not getting Kraft mac and cheese. You're
No,
getting
yeah,
a
you
nice
make a real mac and cheese. Yeah.
homemade mac and cheese, maybe some breadcrumbs on top. It's cooked. And I've dabbled in a few places that have had it. And you do expand your horizons once you are dating somebody and you're meeting new families, especially from places outside of like where you grew up. But anyone that says no to mac and cheese at Thanksgiving, it's like, what the fuck? Like, you never say no to
It
mac and
made me be
cheese.
like, why were we missing out on this? Like, I was like, Mom, like, I think you gave me a bad childhood after realizing I didn't have mac and cheese at
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
Fox.
She ruined my childhood like Ryan Johnson did to so many.
Yeah, true. Something I picked up along the way was from my sister-in-law. She made it, and I'd never had it before. Is the cream corn casserole? Have you ever had that before?
No.
It's cream corn, regular corn. I believe I don't know if you throw some corn muffin mix in there, some
I like
sour
corn.
cream,
Sounds
and
good.
it is fantastico. People love their what is it, green bean casserole. I've like dabbled in that. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm a turkey guy. I like it. It's the tradition. We have our turkey, and people are always like, "Oh, turkey, you only have it that one day." I have changed I've actually embraced it, and I have like the Thanksgiving sandwiches you can get at the local deli. You get like some sliced turkey with some stuffing, some cranberry sauce. That's another thing. Stuffing, I think, is elite. It's good for its little time. I hate people that hate stuffing. Mashed potatoes. We love mashed potatoes, right?
Big time. Maybe
Big
more
time.
than anything. I used to go to Whole Foods and just get a vat of mashed potatoes for lunch. That's all I would eat.
And this is how this guy is that skinny. I would have never pulled that move in my life. And I am me. And look at this guy. And then cranberry sauce. I appreciate the white trashiness of the can, but I'm not
big out on it.
I'm not a big fan of it, but you know what? A few years ago, I had some of Mama Clem made one, and it was like a really good homemade one, and it does do a good job. It lubricates everything up, tastes good, has that like little orange like twang to it, and I've learned to love a side of cranberry sauce. But it sounds like we're both kind of locked in. I'm not a big. I think ham is for the poors guy. But
I remember that from Podfathers. Is it Chaps that's a ham guy?
Chaps actually is a ham is
he
for the
calls out
poors.
he calls out the ham guys. He's written a blog about that before.
Yes, and he is a former poor as well. So he says this is coming from a place of knowledge. He was watching WCW.
Yeah, listen, if
South
it's for the poors, it's for the poors. I think ham is delicious. Also, I've mentioned this in the past, but the Fox leftover play is a little different. We have pies like ready to go. We have like the pie crust, and as soon as Thanksgiving is over, instead of sending us home with Tupperwares full of leftovers, Mama Fox will load that all into a pie. She'll put the crust over the top. All we have to do is bring it home, put it in the oven, and for the next week, we're eating Thanksgiving leftover pie.
That is brilliant. Brilliant, Bob. So I was told like a couple years ago a good way to eat your leftovers, because again, I think you get some good bread. The bread makes a difference. A little Mike Francesa for you. You get some good, like you pay money for some good bread, and you have all the leftovers, which are already elite because it's a Thanksgiving dinner quality meal, and you make your sandwiches that way. And then someone said, I think if you put some like cornmeal batter in a waffle maker, you can make like a good. And I did that. It was tremendous. But I'm telling you, Bob, you embrace the pie side of things, and you make Thanksgiving. And the fact she does it when everything, it's part of the cleanup process, and it's getting everything out of the house. I have to do that. I'm going to have to buy pie. So I have to buy a pie crust, and then what do I have to get for on top? How do I do I don't know how to do the top of pies.
Just like a normal. It's like a normal. I think it comes with the pie crust. I don't know because I don't do it. My mom does it, but she just lays it on top, and then you just kind of like pinch the sides so the bottom touches the top.
Okay.
Cut a little hole in the top, like 4 little holes in the top for air. And I'm telling you, it might be like one of my death row meals in terms of like my favorite thing. Because the pie crust adds like a nice little flavor too. It's so good. I can't wait for it.
And I'm not we've talked about this obviously in Loki. I'm not a huge pie guy in general. I do like
Me neither.
certain kind of pies, but I like chicken pot pies. So I do like a dinner pie as well. Whew, Bob, this is a game changer. I'm actually kind of upset. You've never told me about this before. We've known each other.
Have I never? I look forward to this more than the actual meal, I think.
Yes. And I do I get excited about the thought of Friday. You're kind of groggy. You're tweeting out all your fucking links. Remember, guys, store it at barstoolsports.com. Don't get us fired. I'm sending this to Portnoy when we're done with it, too, so we can't say we didn't promote. We're promoting it before Black Friday goes. For the 2 Bob sweaters out there. He's showing you right now on the YouTube. But, man, I just think of and it's the holiday, so if it's 10:30 in the morning, it's 10:30 in the morning. That's when I'm having my leftover sandwich. That's when Bob's having his leftover pie. Oh, man. And my father-in-law is a hell of a chef. So I'm going to have myself some good leftovers. And I double dip. I've done this before. I go down to the Clems. I go down to my parents, and I take some of their leftovers. Nice. And my brother will go down to the refrigerator. He's like, what the hell happened to all this stuff? And be like, sorry, bro. Because I lick my fingers.
I'm just picturing you trick-or-treating for Thanksgiving food.
I am straight up like
your dad puts it on your head like the Minion and Trump. He just puts a Tupperware on it. There you go. Be on your way.
What TV show did the son always come back and eat stuff out of their refrigerator? That was like a trope on one of the shows.
I think you're right. Yeah,
it might have been the Cosby Show, but there was definitely one where the son kept going in and the dad would always find him in the refrigerator.
Well, where I'm up to in The Sopranos right now, Tony and Carm are going through some marital issues, and he's not living in the house. But every time he shows up, he just opens the fridge, starts drinking the orange juice straight out of the carton, milk straight out of the carton, and she's giving him looks like, oh, geez, I got to throw that out now.
Yep, that's straight
Great
Tony,
stuff.
man. He's just throwing the gabagool in his mouth.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, again, sorry for the lengthiness and the left turn. I apologize. I do apologize for what happened to your Washington Commanders on Sunday. But Jersey boy Tommy DeVito, Papa Delabella was doing the pinch fingers. Did you see? He did the Mamma Mia after the touchdown too?
So, he's hard to hate. Yeah, Tommy DeVito. He's a Jersey guy. There's that picture of him on the boardwalk. Yeah, if anyone's going to do it to the Commanders, let it be Tommy DeVito.
He still lives at home with his parents. He did that to the Commanders, then slept in the bed he grew up in
his mom's basement
as she was cooking his food and doing his laundry, Bob. All right, Bob, make me a promise, and I think you'll agree to this because I don't think your attachment to the Commanders, it's kind of fucked up. You would do this after Snyder finally gets out. But the odds of this happening are 1 in a billion. If Tommy DeVito becomes the long-term franchise quarterback of the Giants, you become a Giants fan.
I thought you were going to say if he wins a Super Bowl for the Giants. if he's just the Giants guy, no, I can't. Bob, I can't do that.
Bob, there's no way he's going to become the Giants starter. There's 0%. They're going to have a draft pick. Daniel Jones isn't going to be the Giants starter. It's going to be a draft pick, and at the very worst, it's going to be Daniel Jones over Tommy fucking DeVito. Because guess what? We're not playing the Commanders.
How about if he brings the Giants to the Super Bowl? Doesn't even have to win. If he brings the Giants to the Super Bowl, I will convert my fandom.
Brings them to the okay, fine. I'll sign up for that. I think that's a little extreme. I
wouldn't like to do it. I don't want to do it.
Honestly, over under how many games does Tommy DeVito start for the Giants the rest of his life? The over under is probably 1.5, next season, starting next season, and then. How many does he start as the guy in front of him is hurt is 0. He's never going to be well, let's give Tommy another shot, see what he has. But you know what? I will agree to this. I'd say the playoffs, but Super Bowl's fine. If Tommy, now what happens if Caleb Williams is the quarterback, gets him to the NFC Championship.
I don't even know who that is.
Fair enough. Super Bowl, we'll just leave it at that. But I know there's a small part of you, the Delabella side of you, is just like, I wish I was rooting for my Paisan.
A very small part of me. It would suck to not like get the 2 Super Bowls over the Patriots, to become a Giants fan after all that.
It's like becoming an MCU fan in 2023.
Yeah, like, oh my God, like
that
I
must
gotta
have been
check out
awesome.
Endgame. yeah. All right, this was an extra long Thanksgiving episode. We pretty much like wrapped the show up early, and then we did a little Thanksgiving after show, which I hope people appreciated. Maybe people are listening to this as they're getting ready for their Thanksgiving dinner or something. Their Thanksgiving, you call it Thanksgiving dinner, but it's usually a Thanksgiving lunch.
Yeah, you get it before the Cowboys game, or maybe first quarter.
Like
a
3-4-ish. Usually, it's
yeah.
usually a little earlier. Yeah. Hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Everyone will be back next week for another show, probably like this, probably news related, news oriented, maybe mailbag edition. We'll take some questions from you guys, and we'll see you then.